everyone, welcome into the 5 Minute Morning Devotion. I am so thankful that you are joining me today for this devotion. I also want to say thank you to all of you who have been supporting us and do continue to support us in this daily devotion. It means the world to us. Now, today I want to talk about getting in and staying in the presence of God, pleasing God, and being obedient to God. We find a story in Luke chapter 10, verse 38. It's a story of Mary and Martha. And the Bible says, now, while they were on their way, Jesus entered a village called Bethany, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. She had a sister named Mary who seated herself at the Lord's feet and was continually listening to his teaching. But Martha was very busy and distracted with all of her serving responsibilities. And she approached him and said, Lord, is it of no concern to you that my sister has left me to do all the serving alone? Tell her to help me and to do her part. But the Lord replied to her, Martha, Martha, you are worried and bothered and anxious about so many things. But only one thing is necessary. For Mary has chosen the good part, that which is to her advantage, which will not be taken away from her. Now, this story is in a place where Jesus and his disciples come to meet Mary and Martha, the sisters of Lazarus and Lazarus. And as it is a custom in most settings, the ladies help serve the guest. And so Mary and Martha are supposed to be serving these guests, Jesus, his disciples, and those that were in the house that day. But Mary had chosen to sit at the feet of Jesus and listen to him talk, to him teach. And Martha is out, she's serving. The Bible says that Martha was very busy and distracted with all her serving responsibilities. Now, I want to tell us something today. The Bible tells us that we must serve the Lord, that we must serve him. We must serve him with gladness. We must serve him while we wait. We must serve him. And so Martha is serving. There's nothing wrong with serving. But the problem was Martha had been busy and distracted with serving, that she did not pay attention to the fact that Jesus was teaching and in her home. And some may say, well, somebody had to do it. True. And Martha was doing her part. But the Bible says that the Lord looked at Martha when she chastised her sister Mary and says, you need to tell her to come do her part. Jesus said, Martha, you are bothered, worried, and anxious, or bothered and anxious about so many things and worried. He said, Martha, you are worried, bothered, and anxious about so many things, but only one thing is necessary. And for Mary has chosen the good part. Now, he's telling Martha, Martha, there's nothing wrong with serving, but there's only one thing that's truly necessary, and that's getting in my presence, staying in my presence. That is relationship with me. And Mary has chosen that part to abide and dwell in my presence, to hear my teachings. How are we going to be able to please God if we're always serving and we're never listening? How are we going to be able to please God if we're always trying to be busy about his work that we fail to get into his word? How are we going to be able to be in his presence and do what he's called us to do and be sensitive to the needs of those around us that he's dealing with us to minister to if we are never conscious of being in his presence? Being in his presence is the necessary part. Being in his presence is what is going to give us the certain necessities of the Spirit that we need to be able to help others find their way to God and understand that living for God is the best life. Mary chose that good part. And he said, no, that will not be taken away from her. When you get in the presence of God, there are things that you're going to learn and understand and know that will never be able to be taken away from you. Experiences that only come by his presence and by his Spirit. You and I have to get in the presence of God if we're ever going to be an effective witness for him. So I challenge us today. Every single day, let's choose the good part, the best part, and that is staying in the presence of God. Because in order to be an effective servant, you have to be in the presence of the Master.